I know it's fun to go out and have a great time. Trust me, I went to Arizona State University. I can tell you. But the idea of what's more attractive, what's more appealing, is having somebody financially responsible. And by understanding everything in life is long-term, not just your finances. It could be education, it could be relationships, it could be kids. Whatever the case is, everything is long-term. And if you think short-term, that is a recipe for disaster. Good day, folks. We got a lot to talk about today as we are going over the chapters in the book, and we are on chapter 6 of, oh, by the way, How the Rich Get Richer. We just got print of this not too long ago, so we are excited. It's officially here, and it's talking about chapter 6 of is how rich people play the long game. And I think this is extremely important, as rich people don't typically get rich overnight. And even if they do, you've heard of the lottery winners, right? How a majority of them end up going bankrupt. Think about that for a second. They completely overspend. You've seen this actually with certain celebrities who just make so much money overnight, become celebrities, and sure enough, they fall into some bad habits, bad addictions, and sure enough, they end up squandering it away. And you see that with athletes and so on. So when you look at truly rich people, they understand it's a long game. You don't get rich overnight. You didn't accumulate all this money overnight, so you're not going to decumulate it overnight. It's truly like a science. It's almost like physics. Seriously, if it takes you a while to accumulate, it takes you a while to decumulate. If you make money fast, you lose it fast. You hear the term easy come, easy go. And so this is the reality of how the rich people play it. And it all starts with something like a delayed gratification, where a majority of people are looking into what? They're looking into investing their money and knowing it's not going to be ready in 1 to 2 months, 1 to 2 quarters, or 1 to 2 years. Yes, I said years. We're talking about the long game of being 1 to 2 decades. When you look at true wealth, and we can even talk about the billionaires that are out there. How Warren Buffett didn't become a billionaire until his 60s. How you start looking at people who are mega billions right now, from Bill Gates to Mark Zuckerberg to Jeff Bezos. They started these companies decades ago. So yes, you have to take a look at your plan long term, which means you don't make short-term radical decisions. Can you imagine in a bear market, or when things weren't going great for some of those companies I just mentioned, where they decided to sell it? You understand how crazy and silly that is? But this goes with everything, not just investing. The same concept in real estate. As I talk about in the book, How the Rich Get Richer. They understand the concept of real estate. In the beginning, you might have to fix up the house. You might have it vacant, assuming it's a rental property. And the worst time to own a rental property is the day you buy it. Because, think about it, when you have a mortgage on it, okay, and you're making payments, the longer you make the payments, the more principal is going towards it. Also, you are slowly raising rents as well. And when you raise rents and your mortgage stays the same, the gap gets that much larger. The long game with real estate is how you make money. And I get it, there's certain people that flip properties and so on, but those are their profession, not long-term investments. It's not the long game. So yet again, in everything that you do, whether it is real estate, whether it is stocks, whether it is businesses, you have to think long-term. You fall down 6 times, you have to get up 7 times. Nothing in life is perfect and easy. It just doesn't work that way. Truly doesn't. So you have to start thinking to yourself, okay, so if I know I'm going to go through this agony, you have to determine to yourself, what do you value more? For example, if you want peace of mind, you want consistency, you want to enjoy life, enjoy your weekends. This is something that even myself was comfortable with, which is why I, and in the beginning, did not decide to open my own company. It was later I decided to do that, where I was like, you know what? And it was through my wife's motivation, where she told me that, you know what? I'm comfortable of holding down the fort, still working, and you having delayed gratification and spending time in the business to grow it. I understood the long game at that very moment because it was my partner, my wife at that point, who would, or currently my wife, not at that point, always still my wife. It was my wife that was going to be my biggest hindrance from starting my company and making it successful. But if she's the one that's telling me to do it, if she's the one that's pushing me and understanding that there's going to be certain times priorities is the business, that's truly the long game. And me understanding that from the beginning where it's going to be extremely difficult, yes, and I was comfortable with the risk and reward pieces to that. By the way, folks, if you're just joining me, you're listening to Gabriel Shahin, Certified Financial Planner, and your host of More Knowledge, More Wealth here on every week. And we're talking about all important topics of personal finance. And today we are just talking about how the rich people play in the long game. And it's chapter 6 of how the rich get richer and discussing these key concepts of finance. And finance is so important because there's multiple ways you can be financially independent. You can do it so easily, actually. It's just people choose not to. You can right now save 10 to 15% of your pay. Right now, you can do it if you really wanted to. Like, you can do it. And sure, there might be one step back, as I always say, for infinite steps forward, but you can do it. And you will be a millionaire, multi-millionaire. People just choose not to. And I get it. It's so hard to look in the future, to look so many decades in advance. It's so hard to do that when right now everything we're so used to getting instantly. I just ordered DoorDash today for lunch, and I was so annoyed when it said it would be there between 23 and 30 minutes, and it was like 35, 40 minutes later. What am I talking about? I have to get in my car and drive 15 minutes there and 15 minutes back. How can I get annoyed? This is the society that we're in. And delayed gratification and playing the long game has more to do with than just investments. It has to do with life. We're so used on seeing results now. COVID didn't help that. A lot of people made money very quickly during COVID. A lot of people were cooped up in their house and they found new ways, and technology boomed because of that. Because Grandma Doris can now turn on a Zoom. So it has to do with understanding, number one, your goal. Number two, how to get there. And number three, be realistic. For example, if you want to get to $3 million and you're 25 years old, let's say at a 7% rate of return, that's realistic, not 20%, a 7% rate of return, you need to save $15,000 a year between 25 to 65. That's how you get there. Now, I'm not saying you have to put in 15,000, right? You can put in 10, maybe your employer puts in 5, depending on the match, right? You have to find a way to put and save $15,000 a year and earn 7% a year. Now, if this year you're down 5, well, next year you might be up 15. You get what I'm saying? So it's all about consistency and putting that money to work for you. But by having a good game plan and putting your money to work and understanding the strategy behind it, that's going to be one of the core concepts to success. We all understand the S&P 500, hopefully, or we understand how the stock market works. We know it goes up and down and goes up over time. As long as we understand that America stays capitalist, and as long as we believe that you're working for a paycheck as much as you may love your job, or even having companies in business, why? To make money. For those logics, stock market goes up. For that sole logic. So we understand that piece. But there are other derivatives behind that, as I talked about earlier with real estate. The cool thing about real estate, when you look at the IRR, the internal rate of return on something, based on how much money you put out, well, eventually a mortgage gets paid off. So after 30 years, all that money comes directly to you. Not only do you get positive cash flow, but it also becomes financially beneficial if you play the long term. Remember what I said, mortgages are 30 years. People love real estate, great. You better believe in delayed gratification and understanding how to play the long run. So these are core concepts to investing. And this is the very important part of chapter 6 of the book, of understanding how rich people play the long game. It's about investing, it's about having a strategy that you believe in, and it's having also a core allocation that no matter what happens in the world, stays relevant. We know technology is going to change. We know there's going to be legislative issues. We know America is going to have good days, bad days, and dark days. And that goes for every other country that's out there. It's investing in a strategy that makes sense for you. For me, I'm boring. And what do I mean by that? I say you stay invested in indices. So what we're going to do, and we're going to come back, I'm going to talk more about these indices, indexes, and how it can make sense for you, because the book does go into detail of how it works and why it's so important to play the long game. We'll be right back after a few words. This is Gabriel Shahin, Certified Financial Planner and President of Falcon Wealth Planning. We wanted to offer you a free financial assessment for listening to the show so you can help relate it to your specific situation. We offer multiple services such as retirement planning, where you are today, how retirement looks like, talking about Social Security, real estate, planning, even if you own a business, talking about taxes, not just how to save money today, but also throughout retirement. Talk about investments, making sure you're avoiding those high fees, costs, commissions, and also estate planning and insurance, just making sure you're properly protected if, God forbid, something were to happen. And we're offering 1 to 2 meetings, 1 to 2 hours of our time at no cost. Give us a call. We would love to help. Our phone number is 855-963-2526. That's 855-96-FALCON, like the bird. Or visit our website at falconwealthplanning.com. That's falconwp.com for short, and fill out the form fill right there on our site. Welcome back, folks. This is Gabriel Shahin, Certified Financial Planner, and your host of More Knowledge, More Wealth here. And every weekend, we're talking about all important topics of personal finance. Today, we are going over Chapter 6 of How the Rich Get Richer, and discussing how rich people play the long game. And I think that is extremely important when you look at just life in general and how our people these days don't look at anything further than probably what's going past this Friday. Like seriously, when you look at what your long-term planning is, it's probably what your next vacation is. And this is a very normal thing, and I see it all far too often. And I'm not so mad if you were to do that, except are you on track to achieve your goals? That's my only comment, right, guys? If you are maxing out your retirement account, maxing out your Roth, saving money in brokerage accounts, it's on invested strategies where it's going and being invested on your behalf, where you know you're saving 10, 15, 20, 50, $100,000+ a year to achieve your financial goals, to enhance and expedite your retirement. So you're working not because you have to, but because you want to. Then I don't care if you're going to plan and spend more time on your next vacation or what you're going to do Friday, because you've already done so much planning up front. So it's understanding the long game. For people who save that $100,000 a year plus, the rich will call it, they've already mentally, psychologically taken that step back for infinite steps forward. They've already put themselves in a position where now, if they have extra money, do what you want with it. Seriously, you're saving and investing $100,000+ a year. And listen, that's an ungodly amount, right? Forget $1 million+ a year. Some people need to get to a point where they can save $500 a month, $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month, whatever it may be. You have to start that way. Now let's say it's $500 a month. That could be $250 a paycheck. Some of you may get paid every 2 weeks. You have 2 extra months of the year where you actually get a third paycheck. So we can call that fun or expedited savings. Whatever the case is, you need to get that automated system in play. And when you take that step back to understand where you are today, it all starts with, okay, got it. I'm going to save money. I'm going to invest money. Okay? The starting of this behavior, sometimes for people who make a lot of money, we call them Henrys. High earner, not rich yet. Makes a lot of sense. But there is a lot of people that are just smart earners, not rich yet. We should call them Senrys, I guess. So you could be a smart earner because it's not how much you make, it's how much you save. And so the idea with all of this is what to do when you're at that point. How do I even get started to invest? Okay, I'm going to open up a Roth IRA. What do? I understand. I'm not going to make a bunch of money overnight. What can I do? Well, it starts off by opening up an account. Let's just keep it simple and call it a Roth IRA. Well, now you have the account. Now it's what's in that account. So you can invest with something so simple as S&P 500. Some people do SPY, some people do VOO, which is Spider and Vanguard's version, and you can just invest in that. Something so simple, such a simple concept, could actually gain to significant gains. Now, that is just one index. That's the large US companies for 500 companies in the US. So this is the largest 500 companies, but that's what's called one asset class. You also have medium-sized companies, small-sized companies. Heck, if you want to get crazy, there's two sides to this. There's two definitions of large cap. There's growth companies and value companies. Now, of course, who wouldn't want growth, right? No, growth is defined as taking a look at the current intrinsic value, the current value, multiply it by future expected earnings, what they're expected to make in the future. If you actually look over almost 100 years, value companies outperform growth companies by almost 5%. Now, I'm not saying put all your money in value. I'm just saying there's two sides to large cap. Maybe having subcategories of growth and value could make sense for you. And it's the same for mid cap and small cap as well. Now, what is this cap? It's pretty much company. Large companies, medium-sized companies, and small companies. Capitalization talks about how much these companies are worth. For example, Apple, let's just say, is worth $3 trillion. Tesla, maybe $1 trillion. You can have other companies out there that's worth in the billions of dollars. So obviously, it's a lot easier for a company that's worth $1 billion to be worth $2 billion versus something that's worth $3 trillion to be worth $6 trillion. That's insane. $3 trillion is worth more than some whole countries. Get what I'm saying? So this is why when I see some idiots on Reddit or on X or on Twitter or whatever it is talking about how, oh, they think this company is going to go from $50 a share to $500 a share. Part of me, it's like, dude, that company's already worth $100 billion. You're trying to say it's going to be worth $1 trillion? I mean, seriously, they would have to what? Net profit? Like $50 billion a year? Something along that just to be what? A 20x multiple? Like, let's be real here. So this is how you can separate the kids and the professionals. By the way, folks, if you're just joining me, you're listening to Gabriel Shahin, Certified Financial Planner, and your host of More Knowledge, More Wealth here on every weekend. We're talking about all important topics of personal finance. And today we're talking about the book and delayed gratification of how the rich people play the long game in my new book coming out of How the Rich Get Richer. And this book is designed not really for the rich, maybe the rich's kids, but it's really designed to learn from somebody who's already achieved financial success. I am blessed. From 18 years old, I got to work with successful people. I can't express to you how amazing that was for my professional and personal career. I was able to see who didn't do well and who did very well. But the one thing remains constant, and that is successful people, which is how the rich get richer, successful people understand long-term goals. Keyword, long-term. So by being diversified in everything you do, maybe outside of your spouse, but being diversified is so crucial. This is why it's important to not put all your eggs in one basket. This is why it's important, if you have these type of resources, to have real estate investments, to have commodities or crypto, and specifically stocks and bonds. And when you start talking stocks and bonds, the easiest and most disciplined way is just to stay in indices, to go ahead and stay in those large cap, USA, mid caps, and small caps. And what I haven't talked about yet, even though I talked about growth and value tilts, is international. It also makes sense to get into international because America's great until it's not. Now, I get it. Countries, companies, and people are all designed to be survivors. So even when America is not doing well, such as going through a recession like it did in the early 2000s, in 2008, even in 2022 during the interest rate hikes and during COVID, it made sense to be globally diversified in the portfolio. Because as we saw in the early 2000s, as we even saw during the Great Recession, having diversification is crucial to the success of your portfolio. And you never know when you need to access the money. The worst thing you can do is when markets drop and you're selling low to have access to capital. God forbid, What if you don't have a job at that point? What if the company goes out of business? What if the company has to do massive layoffs? This is what happened in 2008. So this is the core reasons why you need to understand long-term, not just for your goals, but also for possible what-if scenarios. I know it's fun to go out and have a great time. Trust me, I went to Arizona State University. I can tell you. But the idea of what's more attractive, what's more appealing, is having somebody financially responsible. And by understanding everything in life is long-term, not just your finances. It could be education. It could be relationships. It could be kids. Whatever the case is, everything is long-term. And if you think short-term, that is a recipe for disaster. So take a step back, understand where you are, and make those goals for your future, because you have to start somewhere. And the one thing that I can say from working with over 20 years with successful, wealthy people is that's what they do. And that's how, truly, with delayed gratification, playing the long run of how the rich get richer. Folks, that was a fast show. I want to thank you for tuning in with us this weekend. You can always reach out to myself or any one of our colleagues here at Falcon Wealth Planning. Our phone number is 855-963-2526. That's 855-96-FALCON, like the bird. Or visit our website at falconwealthplanning.com. That's falconwp.com for short, where you can go and visit our Knowledge Center, which redirects you to YouTube. We have over 1 million views, folks. And if you want us to discuss anything on YouTube, on the show, whatever, send your inquiry to radio@falconwp.com. That's radio@falconwp.com. And if you want this episode, any one of our previous episodes, you can go on podcast, Spotify. We have them all there. And folks, we want to thank you for your trust. We want you to feel free and feel comfortable to reach out with any questions that you have. I want you to have a fantastic weekend. Have a great week, and God bless.